Hello and good day. My name is Marc Godin and I'm pleased to welcome you to the webinar. I will have a few words of introduction and then quickly I'll pass it on to our main speaker. I am with PTAC, the Petroleum Technology Alliance Canada, and I'll start off with a brief safety moment. And for the last year, we've talked a lot about the pandemic and the COVID-19 situation, where everyone, I believe, certainly in North America, we are excited about reopening. Different states or provinces are moving faster than others. We just need to remind everyone to follow the public health advisory in your locality so that we don't experience, however you count, the third or fourth wave of this virus. So let's reopen carefully as directed by the authorities. PTAC is an industry association. This year we celebrate our 25th anniversary, and for that period of time we have facilitated the introduction of new technologies into the oil and gas sector in Canada. We currently have a little over 200 members, and as part of our facilitation mandate, we host these webinars to introduce new opportunities for oil and gas producers and service providers to embrace new technologies to improve their businesses and also to reduce environmental impact and improve safety. So today I am pleased to welcome PermianChain Technologies. It's not the first time that we have held a webinar with PermianChain, and we're pleased that today they will report on the significant progress and improved opportunities that they see in their market. So PermianChain is a proprietary technology platform that brings together the crypto mining and oil and gas sectors. Using a blockchain, PermianChain makes it possible to utilize stranded and wasted energy resources, unlocking liquidity and transforming the way that oil and gas projects are funded, produced, bought, and sold. The goal is to eliminate the high barrier to entry and create value in resource, finance, and sustainability for the exploration and production of proven natural gas reserves globally. Our speaker is Mohammed El Masri. Mohammed has over 7 years of corporate finance experience, giving him a detailed understanding of how to structure alternative investment products. He is the founder and CEO of PermianChain Technologies, a proprietary technology platform that brings together the crypto asset mining and oil and gas sectors. He also serves as director and CEO of Brock's Equity, a Calgary-based corporation which oversees a group of portfolio companies active in oil and gas, power generation, and cryptocurrency mining data centers. A few more comments here before I turn it over to Mohammed. The webinar is recorded. We will have the recording available in a day or two on the PTAC website. If you have colleagues that were not able to join us today, they can watch it at that time. You will also have the opportunity to ask questions after the presentation, which will take about 30 to 40 minutes. And after the question and answer period, we will bring the event to closure. So without further comments from my part, I'd like to bring on Mohammed to do his additional introduction and go through his presentation. Over to you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Mark, for this amazing introduction. I'm very honored to be part of this PTAC webinar for the second time and to give your members an update on what we are doing and how PermianChain can bring value and create value from resource finance and sustainability. And what we've seen since 2018 up until today, throughout our journey at PermianChain, is that there is a significant amount of natural gas resources that are being wasted. And as a corporate finance person by profession and not really an oil and gas professional or expert, I saw a different type of opportunity. And for me, it was more to support this very important sector in our economy, the key driver to the growth in the Canadian economy, which is the oil and gas sector, to support that sector by not just bringing value and supporting working capital or cash flow requirements, but also by providing a net benefit and optimizing the value of our sector that to then reflect on communities where most of these natural gas resources are located. So we saw in the opportunity to monetize on those resources and to help oil and gas companies create value and sustainability. Without going through an introduction on PermianChain, because Mark already gave a perfect introduction, I'll just go dive deep into what we do. And we're a blockchain-based platform. And what blockchain is, for those who are not aware, blockchain is really a trust protocol. And what it is, in simple terms, is the internet. Ever since it was created as a communication protocol. And just like you have SMTP for email to communicate, and the protocol for email, you have blockchain protocols for transactions. And it has been created as a transaction protocol. So Bitcoin is one of the first applications or protocols on the blockchain that was able to create large-scale adoption and bring value to global banking system in general, or maybe an alternative to the existing banking solutions. And protocol as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system runs on the blockchain, which is a transaction protocol based completely on trust. And it solves the problem of double spending and many other challenges that the current monetary system has. And you can read more about Bitcoin in the Bitcoin white paper, which is easily found if you search this title on Google. Current market cap for Bitcoin is around $0.76 trillion, a highly liquid asset that can benefit communities, that can benefit companies, treasuries, just like it has been doing. Canadian companies are buying Bitcoin and replacing their US dollars with Bitcoin or fiat currencies with Bitcoin to hedge against inflation. And also to have this alternative form of investment. And it is currently being used as an alternative to gold as a store of value, and less than less as a currency. But we see that movement towards Bitcoin being adopted as a currency, just like recently El Salvador, a Central American country that has recently made Bitcoin legal tender, and that has changed really the dynamics of the Bitcoin landscape. And the way Bitcoin functions is through a process called Bitcoin mining. And what Bitcoin mining is, and to use the analogy of the current internet infrastructure, you have the Googles, the Amazons, the Facebooks of the world that run large amount of data and process large amount. They need very large data centers, those data centers running efficiently. So these data centers basically store data that is being processed on these platforms, whether it's Google, Amazon, or Facebook, and allows the internet to run. So Bitcoin runs through a similar process where you have to have the Bitcoin mining data centers that are running ASIC miners, which are application-specific integrated circuits used for Bitcoin mining. And to do that, you need those data centers, you need a large amount of energy. And there is the challenge of, first of all, finding that energy, right? And environmentally friendly energy or responsibly produced energy. Being able to get low cost energy and not take energy away from you know, the grid or communities or societies and overconsume energy. So what we look for is to consume energy through wasted resources or excess resources. And natural gas sector has a lot of that. And they have two challenges that we see is the funding challenge and the market challenge. And this is what PermianChain is here to solve. The way we solve that is through the PermianChain platform, where we allow smart financing contracts that we'll showcase in a bit here. Will provide a really streamlined process for allowing oil and gas companies to communicate directly with registered exempt market dealers to issue digital securities and raise capital against their natural gas power generation and Bitcoin mining projects. And we also allow a digital energy marketplace where oil and gas companies can sell this energy resource directly to Bitcoin miners that are seeking low-cost energy. And the beauty here is this energy can be sold in advance before it is even produced through a process that we call smart offtake agreements. And we've created what we call a digital energy currency that we'll also showcase in a while. And that digital energy currency is basically a utility currency or settlement coin on our platform that allows oil and gas companies and Bitcoin miners to buy and sell power capacity that is converted from natural gas resources. The business model of PermianChain revolves around working with oil and gas companies, upstream E&P companies, to deploy power generation on site and then bring data mining or Bitcoin mining infrastructure also on site to unlock digital earnings from untapped natural gas reserves. And all of this is registered on our platform, where we have a blockchain using IBM Hyperledger to store data and store and timestamp transactions and keep these transactions kind of trusted and transparent between the parties involved. And it is a permission-based blockchain. And we also use Ethereum to create smart contracts and integrate that onto the platform, where all of this is happening and streamlined from a user experience and user interface point of view. However, on the back end and operationally, there's a lot of work between PermianChain and the oil and gas company and PermianChain's operating partners, such as Brox Energy and Brox Data Centers out of Alberta, where we bring this solution on site to allow either to do self-mining to generate our own Bitcoin or your own Bitcoin, or to sell this power capacity or this energy resource as electricity to third-party Bitcoin miners, where we host their servers into these facilities. And as I've been mentioning, the benefits we've provided is really streamlining, optimizing, monetizing, and enhancing the oil and gas business model, which we believe after this pandemic and that this model will serve as will contribute to the recovery of the sector and hopefully ultimately the economy. You know, how it works is a bit more complex, but there's, again, a diagram that shows, you know, oil and gas companies uploading their reserve information. Then there's a tokenization process based on that information. We issue digital energy currency on the platform in proportion to the amount of reserves and power capacity that is generated out of these reserves. And we sell that to Bitcoin miners, and oil and gas companies can ultimately monetize that resource. And of course, we don't work as PermianChain on our own. We have an ecosystem which consists of registered exempt market dealers for digital securities issuances. Of course, the oil and gas companies are important stakeholders and partners in this community, the data mining operators, and of course, accredited investors that are brought onto the platform and onboarded by registered EMDs that we work with and onboard onto our platform. We've been doing this since 2019 and came to a point where finally we are launching a commercially viable product and allowing oil and gas companies to register their reserves on our platform for tokenization. This is a snapshot of the platform, which we'll actually get into right now. Great. So usually when we work with our partners, oil and gas companies, we would like to take them through the process, get them acquainted, give them an idea of what the possibilities are. All right. And I think this is very important to manage expectations and show what's possible. Right. So currently, you have a Bitcoin market cap that is around $764 billion, up 5% in the past 24 hours. So this is a highly liquid asset, and at a current price of 36,000 US. We have created a website called OilgasBitcoincom, and you can go on OilgasBitcoin.com, and as an oil and gas operator or natural gas well owner, you can input exactly how much MCF per day you are producing. And let's just assume you have a single well in a remote area in Alberta, and it's been stranded or it's producing, and it's producing around 150,000 cubic feet a day. And your current net back per MCF, or you know, the net profit you have per MCF is around $1.25 after your gas lifting costs. After calculating this, the website will give you exactly what your gas would generate if you were to use that production for mining Bitcoin. And currently this is assuming your gas lifting cost is around generation on this, the OPEX is around $0.01 per kilowatt hour. That is just an assumption. It could be 0.02, and data center management, assuming a 5% paid to the data center manager, 2% pool fees for using the software that you connect your Bitcoin mining machines to. So these software take around 2% of the Bitcoin that's mined. Natural gas production at 150 MCF per day, current net back at 1.25, and assuming a daily spot ACO price of 2.1, but let's just say this is around $3 to be calculated if you use this energy resource to mine Bitcoin. Your daily revenue on $1,800. Monthly revenue is around $57,000. Your realized dollar per MCF is around $12.6. Instead of selling it for $3, you would have a realized dollar per MCF of 12, and that is the net back multiple of 7.5 times, 420% higher than ACO price. This is the possibility and how it creates value from natural gas resources. So today, never in the history of the oil and gas sector was this possible. And today, oil and gas companies have the choice to either sell it to the ACO market at spot prices or use it to mine their own Bitcoin, or use that energy to sell electricity to miners, which would reduce your net back to probably 2 to 3 times, but you'd still be making 2 to 3 times your money compared to ACO by registering your reserves on our platform. And what we have here is PermianChain Supplier. This is our screen here with the add campaigns page. Ultimately, we would add our daily production, and it'll give us an estimate of what the power capacity would be. And once we add that,
just on the general questions, is there some, Mohammed, are there some minimum on volumes of natural gas and that you like, or optimum numbers that you like to see?
yeah, ultimately we can accommodate as low as 100 MCF per day, and or 125 around. And the reason is we want to maintain a minimum of per site, at least a minimum of 300 kilowatts. And that allows us to have a sizable pilot or a sizable operation to host third-party miners. Yeah. But ultimately, if you have 50 MCF or 60 MCF and you can generate 100 kilowatts, that would be a self-mining operation for oil and gas companies to mine on their own.
Awesome, awesome. And you have some guidance on time frame, like how long is this is the kit transportable? How long does it have to be on that site with that volume so that there's a good return on the project?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it does take around 4 to 6 weeks to fabricate a data center, which comes in the form of a 20-foot or 40-foot container. And we've at our Alberta shop, Brock's Data Centers, we've designed and fabricated proprietary data centers for this specific purpose. So these are modular and mobile data centers that you can place on site, and fabrication time would be 4 to 6 weeks. And that, I think, would be a reasonable timeline for deployment of any specific site between 300 and kilowatts and 1 megawatt.
Awesome, awesome.
You have your campaigns page where you can manage your production sites or your gas wells, and this should be really per site, so it should not be a consolidated submission. I think operators should add each site separately in order to be able to manage them appropriately. You have your balance here where you can track how much money you're making off of your power capacity. What we also have here is, as you can see on the left-hand side, a tab for shareholders, transaction, forecast details, token dashboard. What that is, it is for being able to communicate with your shareholders and your exempt market dealers. Because what the platform also allows you to do is select an exempt market dealer to raise capital for your campaigns or your company to finance your production sites. And by selecting an EMD, the EMD would take you through an onboarding process, and you'd be eligible to issue a digital security, which is ultimately a digital representation of your company's shares, allowing you to execute or launch a streamlined digital private placement on the platform by working closely with your EMD. And once your token is registered and approved, you'll have a dashboard here with a graph of forecast details that need to be inputted manually, and your EMD or your financial modeler will help you with that. And then here you have your token details, authorized, outstanding, floating, unissued, and you'd be able to manage subscriptions that come in from what we have a PermianChain investor dashboard, where accredited and eligible investors are onboarded by exempt market dealers, and these exempt market dealers are representing. And this is where you can send your tokens to your shareholder, and this is where you can manage your shareholders or add shareholders. So ultimately, we, PermianChain, allow you to solve your funding challenges by streamlining a more efficient private placement process that is compliant and that deals directly with broker dealers or exempt market dealers in your jurisdiction. and we allow you to solve your natural gas market challenge by creating a digital energy marketplace where this natural gas resource can be sold to people that need it. And that is all for us today. That is the complete presentation, and I hope it served some value to the attendees. And if there are any further questions in the Q&A, I'm happy to answer them. Ultimately, you can reach me at Mohammed@PermianChain.com, and we can put that in the chat for all the panelists to get the email, or you can follow us on our LinkedIn, PermianChain Technologies, or on Twitter, PermianChain.
And what I find, Mohammed, that's awesome is that your platform and your company provides everything that's needed, not just the kit and the software, but also the financial aspects. So an oil and gas producer only need to say, I have a well and produces so much gas, and there are all these opportunities to get the financing and the corporate structure to be set up as well as with the technical side.
Yeah, as long as there's a registered EMD in that jurisdiction, then we can work with that EMD to offer the software for streamlining the private placements, but also the opportunities to a lot of the oil and gas companies that have shut-in wells or stranded wells that still have potential to produce, that are ultimately a liability on their balance sheet and causing them a lot of challenges and issues. So, you know, these are solutions that can optimize asset value.
Yeah, so an oil and gas producer does not need to bring in capital. I mean,
they might have assets that
could
serve the purpose, as long as you know, they can bring that well back to production and deploy some power generation. Then there's a market for that power. That PermianChain gets involved in marketing that energy resource.
Yes. So that's a very complete solution, and in a complex, both technical and financial marketplace that is the crypto mining. It's very good to see an opportunity here that provides a complete solution and has tools to solve all those challenges.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to hopefully helping as much industry participants and PTAC members as possible.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
All right.
Closing comments are with regards to the global monetary infrastructure or banking infrastructure, and that is, there is a shift right now taking place, whether we like it or not, whether we're a part of it or not. There is a shift taking place, and technology and decentralization and trusted protocols are gaining popularity and gaining mainstream adoption and being receiving regulatory frameworks from regulators and governments of different geographic regions and jurisdictions. And I think the oil and gas sector is very well positioned to provide the infrastructure for the global digital economy, or ultimately the global blockchain economy. And that is where the world is headed. We live in a digital world, we live in a digital era, and there's a new energy era, and that is the blockchain energy. And no one is better suited than the oil and gas sector and oil and gas experts and professionals to serve this future. And I think as long as we can contribute to the betterment of society and communities, then we should do our best to be a part of it.
Thank you, Mohammed. And thank you to the audience.